Missing someone, but without you, missing someone, but
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So here, today's client, we are going to be doing a retouch on her and then a mini color correction. So here, I don't know if you guys can see, I tried to get it as much as possible, but her ends there are slightly greenish. So a little back history on her color history is she used to be a solid blonde. And then we have been slowly transitioning her to something that is lower maintenance, more like a balayage. So that green is from her old creative colors. She's done like almost every color, and they all just kind of kept fading green. So we've been fighting this green for a while. She's done 2 rounds of red with me, and the red was there to try and cancel out the green. So the very first red we did was a very deep wine red from Pulbright. I used Pyro on her, which is like a really deep wine red. And then that kind of just faded out. That's a semi-permanent, so it just faded out kind of pinkish and then back to her blonde color. And then the second time we did another red overlay was I used a demi-permanent, and that time we were really trying to cancel it out. We probably did like more of a coppery reddish brown type of color because she wanted to be more natural than anything, but also darken her blonde, so that was perfect for that. And this is pretty much what that color faded out to. So today's goal is to kind of maintain that type of color. She wants a very ashy mushroom brown type of eye, but also something that's going to be really low maintenance, something that will grow out really pretty and make her feel like she doesn't have to get her hair done right away or so often. So one of the things I want to consider is how I'm going to make this color start to fade out pretty. And then the other thing is what kind of blend I'm going to be giving her. So right now I gave her a baby light around the hairline, and then I took a section, I would say about 1/4 inch above that, and then weave that and did like a medium sized weave. This is going to give her some nice color around her hairline, so when she puts her hair up, she definitely sees some nice dimensional pieces. But I don't want these pieces to be too close together because I don't want her to have such a heavy hairline underneath here. I still want it to be dimensional and a little bit broken up. So that is why I left a bit more dimension between the very first foil around the hairline and this one that I'm doing right now. So now I'm going in and I'm going to be slicing the back, and I like to slice the back or take the back section all in one go. I feel like this just saves a lot of time. So there I'm going to be trying to actively section out the pieces that have the longest root. This is going to make her color have longevity, and then also the placement too. So no matter how long she waits, like if it's within the 6-month mark, she can still maintain that brightness that she has on those mids and ends. If I were to pick up only the pieces that I highlighted last time and I left all this dimension, then eventually she would need a really full-on transformation if she came in, because I wouldn't be brightening those mids and ends during this session. So I feel like I have to kind of, with this client, just think ahead and create a look that's going to last her longer no matter how long she waits, because I typically see her probably, I would say, every maybe 4 to 6 months depending on her schedule and when she feels like she wants to come back in, which is totally fine, we do something that is going to grow out a lot really soft on her, and she really doesn't mind the dimension at all. But I like doing this on clients who wait that long because it gives them a little bit more impact with the color. So now that I'm reaching the top part of her hair, the top part of her hair right here where I'm reaching at is pretty much everything that's going to lay on all of those foils that are underneath it. And this is where she's going to see most of the color. So on this part, I do like to space my foils a little bit closer together because I want her to feel like she has a decent amount of color, and I also want it to blend really well. On the foils that are underneath these sections, the spacing of between my slices are a little bit further apart because I really want that dimension and give her that low maintenance look. But again, my spacing for the top is going to be a bit closer together because her roots are long, and if I left too much space on the very top, she would feel probably a little too subtle on the root part. And then I forgot to mention, but the products that I'm using are the Blonde Me Schwarzkopf Lightener and that first bowl right for the foils that are around her detail hairline. I do a bowl mixture of 6 volume and 20 volume. And then for the rest of the head, I'm just going to be going in with just 20 volume. So you can see as I'm slicing her head, I am actively sectioning out any pieces that have been highlighted. Like you saw that nice chunk there that I kind of moved out of the way so that I could highlight the rest. I feel like that's really important so that you can avoid any type of like breakage that might occur if you were to leave it there or accidentally paint on it. And then my foils, I like to use my longer Framar foils. I use the Framar foil cutter so that I can customize the length of foil depending on the section so that I don't waste any foil, and then also so that I don't have to like fold up the hair inside the foil. I find that when you leave the hair flat and you don't have to fold it up, especially on darker hair and hair that is a bit coarser, you get a way more even lift than if you were to fold up the hair or even fold up the foil. I feel like sometimes that disrupts the evenness of the bleach, and I feel like it just can create some warm spots. So now that I've moved on to her money piece, I've already discussed in my consultation what kind of money piece she would like, and she told me that she wanted something that was lighter in the front but nothing that was too chunky or too bold. So for that type of placement, I'm going to be doing a weave right at the hairline, and then I do a slice and then lock it in with another weave before I continue on my regular slicing pattern to connect the front hairline and the back mohawk section. And the money piece, you can really just customize and do whatever you wish or feel like your client will like or will achieve the look that they're going for. And sometimes that is a little bit difficult to describe. So if a client isn't really understanding what you mean by like chunky or something that is lighter in the front, pictures are great for that because you can definitely show them an example of what you consider a chunky money piece or what a natural, more blended front looks like compared to a chunkier money piece. And then I pretty much just continue my slicing pattern all the way up to the back and have those two connect before I reach and move on to the sides. So moving on to the sides now, I'm going to be doing a baby light on the hairline, so I am going to weave that. Generally, if a client already has like pre-existing highlights and it's not completely solid black or super dark, I do like to always weave the hairline just to create a bit of softness. The only time I'll really slice around the hairline is if I'm doing a full transformation and that client has no previous blonde or any highlights on the mid-lengths and ends. So I did about 2 weaves on the side hairline, and then I just did one weave above the ear to connect that front and back. And then after that, I'm going to continue my slicing pattern up the sides of the head. On the sides here, because this is going to be laying on the underneath of where she primarily parts her hair, I am going to be spacing out the side sections a little bit more, because this is where I want to leave a bit more dimension, so that this is going to grow out a lot softer and give her highlights, those pops, because your highlights are only going to pop if you have dimension. If she was like a solid blonde, the pieces that are lighter won't really pop because they have nothing to contrast against. So having these darker pockets on the side is really going to make, like, for example, that front money piece pop out after the whole color is completely done. So since we're going to be doing an ashy mushroom brown, I really wanted this color to fade out really pretty. And in order to do that and to have those really ash mushroom brown tones show, I needed to lift her to at least like a level 9. So you can see as I'm pulling out her foil, she lifted to a really pretty level 9, and she's pretty much ready for my toner afterwards. So for her toner application, I am going to pre-section the hair. So I normally like to section out the hairline like this, because I'm going to be toning that last. So right now I'm going in with her root shade cover, and the way that I like to apply a root mount is I like to part the hair right wherever they part their hair, and part it all the way and take that all the way back to the nape and apply the root shadow there. And then after that, I'm going to pivot from the top of the head and start taking sections vertically in the back. And I feel like taking sections vertically in the back is going to really blur out any lines that you see, opposed to doing it horizontally. I just feel like it gives it a more better blend. And so I'm really just going in and sectioning. I do the whole back before I move and root the sides, and then I'm gonna go in and do the mid color. And my formulas for this, I'm using a liquid demi-line, and the root shadow is going to be a level 6 natural. The mid color is going to be a level 7 natural. And then for the very ends where you saw that green tone that I had, I'm going to be mixing up a level 8 violet with a little bit of pinkish tone to it. And for that one, I'm using the Redken Shades EQ, and I used 8 VRO. And that's going to help cancel out some of that green pigment and still make her hair nice and ashy. So right now you can see I've already rooted her, and I'm applying that 7-0, which is a level 7 natural, and just brushing that out. I haven't even applied the toner to the front yet, because I normally like to tone everything behind the hairline first, and then once I feel like that is almost done, that's when I'll go in and tone the hairline. And that's typically how I normally will do my mounts, because I feel like the hairline, the hairs are finer there, so they tone a lot quicker. So I like to save that for last. But now you can see I'm going in and toning with that lighter formula. That lighter formula, again, is pretty much just like a level 8 that has a bit of violet and pink in it to help cancel out those green tones that were on the ends. Alrighty guys, so here is the finished look. What do you guys think? I freaking love the way that this is blended. I feel like this is going to grow out really soft on her and give her something that will fade out really pretty against her skin tone as well, since we lifted her to about a level 9. I feel like maintenance on this, I would say she shouldn't have to come back sooner than 12 weeks for her roots, and then she can wait as long as 4 to 6 months for her roots if she's wanting to be more on the dimensional side anyways. But yeah, the beauty of this color is that as it lightens up, it's going to lighten up into kind of like a goldeny blonde. It's going to still fade a bit neutral before it gets kind of golden, but it is going to last a bit longer before it totally washes out. I also love how the 8 VRO in the Redken Shades line really toned those ends. It didn't have too much violet or pink to kind of make it a pinkish purple tone, it really did help cancel out that green, yet still make the rest of it more of a neutral tone to kind of go cohesively with the other neutral colors that we put in her hair. Alrighty guys, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in, and as always, I will talk to you guys next week.